Emotional Intelligence 2.0, a practical guide to understanding your mind's secrets, sharpening your mental skills to perform better at work and improve your social life. Written by Daniel Cloud. Narrated by Darren Goleman. Introduction. Learning processes are incredibly complex because they are the result of multiple causes which are articulated in a single product. However, these causes are fundamental of two orders, cognitive and emotional. Despite this, the prevailing educational model in general tends to ignore or minimize the psychological aspects, and to the extent the student rises within it, these are less and less taken into account. However, because of the educational revolution generated from the emergence of constructivism and the impact of the theory of multiple intelligences, a new debate has opened in pedagogy that includes the role of emotions as one of the fundamental aspects to be considered in the integral education of the student. As is proper in the social sciences, defining mental constructs to work with is a difficult task, and emotions do not escape this dilemma. No one doubts that all human beings experience their existence, although we cannot always control their effects, hence the importance of considering their emotional education as such an essential aspect in the formation of the individual just as much as the academic education, for constituting a whole person who is so intimately linked to each other that it would be unthinkable to consider the possibility of developing any of these aspects separately. And since the educational act is only possible thanks to the presence of the two main participants, learners and educators, it should be considered as the second influencing the emotions and feelings of the first, within a specific cultural context, which is ultimately the place where you define what we assume as being emotions and feelings. Chapter 1. Emotional Intelligence Explained. Emotional intelligence is one of the key concepts to understanding the direction psychology has taken in recent decades. From a model mainly concerned with mental disorders on the one hand and reasoning abilities on the other, we have moved on to another one in which emotions are considered to be intrinsic to our behavior and non-pathological mental activity. Consequently, feelings are something that must be studied to understand how we are. Thus, emotional intelligence is a construct that helps us understand how we can adaptively and intelligently influence both our emotions and our interpretation of the emotional states of others. This aspect of the human psychology dimension has a fundamental role, both in the way we socialize and in the adaptation strategies to the environment in which we live. We have always heard that intellectual quotient, IQ, is a trustworthy indicator to know if a person will be successful in life. This quotient is based on the intelligence score, which is said to establish a strong relationship with overall instructional performance and professional achievement. This concept is not in itself incorrect, but it offers us a biased and incomplete picture of reality. Researchers and corporations began to detect a few decades ago that the skills and abilities necessary to succeed in life included others that went beyond the use of logic and rationality, and these capabilities were not evaluable by any test of intelligence. It is necessary to take into account a broader conception of what basic cognitive skills are and what we understand to be intelligence. Proof of this is that we began to gain some theories of intelligence by trying to understand it from different perspectives, such as the theory of multiple intelligences of Howard Gardner's theory of Raymond Cattell and others, explaining the variations among fluid and crystallized intelligence, or the emotional intelligence popularized by the way of Daniel Goleman. In our everyday lives,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?